Okay, so today we are going to be making some fireballs. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new composition. I'm just going to call this Fireball. We're going to make it 10 seconds long, 1920 by 1080, and click OK. So now we've got this, we're going to create a new solid. So composition, okay, doesn't matter, I'll just right click new solid and we'll call this Fireball. And then click OK. Now we're going to use the built-in particle system in After Effects. So you can do this even if you don't have any plugins whatsoever. And you don't need any extra things to be able to do this. So we're going to use CC particle systems, and we're going to drag that onto our solid, and then you can see we have an explosive fireball, which looks quite cool. So we then go into the physics. We want to keep animation, and we're just going to subtract gravity to maybe minus 0.1. I'm going to pull the producer down to here, and now you can see it's going up. So now that we got that, what we want to do is turn the velocity down to 0. So now we've got a long tube of fire. Maybe we'll turn that up a little bit to like 0.05, just to make it a little bit more exciting. Like that. So we're getting a sort of fiery thing there. We're going to turn the extra down to 0. So basically that just means there won't be any particles on the side. And then you can change the randomly to find what you want, but I'm happy with what I've already got. So there's our fire, and we've got really cool producing. And now what we need to do is make it look more realistic. So we're going to use a type of blur, and it's vertex CC vector blur. Turn the amount up, and you can see it creates a sort of fiery look. So if we put that maybe at 10. Okay, that looks quite good. I think maybe a bit more, maybe like 50. And now that looks pretty cool and a bit like fire. Okay, so after that I'm also going to add just some fast blur to blur the edges a bit where there's a bit of extra stuff, so that will just merge everything together. You don't want to overdo this, but just something that brings the edges and makes it just look a bit smoother. Okay, so now we have quite a cool looking fireball, but we need some smoke to go with it. Now you don't need to do this because it's quite subtle, but it does make it look a bit more convincing. So again, we're going to create a new solid. This time I'm just going to do Control Y, and I'm going to add in some smoke. I'm going to add fractal noise to this, and now you can see this looks a bit like smoke. On the evolution, we're going to alt click it and do time times 100. So this takes the time on the composition, times it by 100, and then that's the amount for the evolution. So now you can see it's already animating itself. Okay, so now I'm going to hide that and go to here where we can see our thing, and I'm just going to make a sort of smoky type shape, just something a bit random that looks a bit interesting, so that smoke looks cool. Turn that on again, and we want to go into the feathering by clicking F, and we want to add lots of feather. And then I'm also going to take the opacity, turn the opacity down. I might want to screen it, and then we're going to drag it underneath our fireball, and I'm going to turn the opacity down even more so you can barely even see it. maybe 15%. Okay, so now we've got some smoke, and if we just turn the mask off and actually just turn the opacity to 100% for now, so we can see what we're doing. We want to grab the fractal noise and you can move it around. That's the scaling. In transform, we've got offset turbulence. So we want to make it look like the smoke's moving up. So if we go that way, the smoke is moving down, so we want to animate it that way. So for this I'm just going to use simple keyframes because it's easier than making a thing. So then that wants to go up. And we'll just move it up to there. So now you can see our smoke is also rising. So if we put our mask back on, and we'll turn our opacity back down to 15, in fact maybe even 10, so it's really subtle. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Another thing I'm going to add to this is I'm going to keyframe the opacity to start at 0 until the flame actually is fully kicked in, and then I'll put it up to 10, so it sort of comes in with the flame, like so. And then I'm going to scale it down a bit because it looks like it's a bit too big. Okay, and then we're going to make it rise. So we're going to put a keyframe at position, and I'm actually going to move it to like here so it doesn't start moving straight away. Move to the end of the frame, hold shift and just move it up off the thing, and then I'm going to move it to the side just a little bit to add some variation. And now you can see we've got some cool smoke in the background that really just pulls the scene together and makes it look a lot more realistic. Okay, so then I'm going to grab my footage and take it into a new composition. So we have me just doing some hand wavy stuff, magic, and we're going to take our fireball composition and we're just going to drop that straight in. Okay, so it starts, probably want it to go around there. So we started off there, and then we're going to need to scale it up. So if we go into scale, let's make it a bit bigger, and then we'll move it to there again. And then I'm just gonna make sure that nothing goes on top of it. Okay, that looks good. And then towards the end it just pops out. So I'm gonna go into time stretch, and I'm gonna stretch it to 200. And then we can click OK. And now you can see it lasts for our whole composition, and if we preview this, okay, so if we just preview this little bit here, and actually slowing it down makes it look a lot cooler because it's got a lot slower of a build up, and you can see that that works throughout the whole clip. And if you look really closely, you can see the smoke behind it up there. So yeah, that is how to do a fireball. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you next week.